Hello! Welcome to my tutorial on how to do sort of a bit of a whack album cover. So I've sort of made a template for you on this. The idea is that you can sort of add your own in, would be the perfect scenario, please. But let's get to it. So when you open up the template, you will see this lady looking back at you. Hello, I don't know her name, but hello. And you can see it's got a sort of watermark on because I've blatantly robbed this off the internet. When you download this, it's already a Photoshop document, so you can just double click it and it'll automatically open in Photoshop. When it's open, you are looking for this icon, or the word layers. If it's not there and you're like, oh David, no, I need it. It's like that in there. And I've also given it an adjustment layer. So towards the bottom, so the bottom layer is just a white blank square. Okay, and then the one above that, this is an adjustment layer. And these adjustment layers are brilliant. So what these do is an adjustment layer only affects everything below it because you've got your order of your layers here. And I've switched most of these layers off so you can't see them. You can just see the picture of this lady looking back at us. Now, obviously, you can get different types of adjustment layers, ones that do contrast, saturation, sharpness, all that kind of stuff. But today's one is threshold. Now, what threshold does is it sort of turns it into just black and white. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this layer below that. So just by click and hold, zoom out so you can see what happens when I do that. So we go from this image here, by click and hold on it, drag it underneath. Instantly it's got that really high contrast look to it, which is what the threshold is doing. So the threshold's applying that effect to the layer underneath. If I just to demonstrate, switch the next layer on, which is it's actually a car headlight. If I drag that below, you can see it does the same to that as well. I'm just going to undo what I've done there and just put that back up, turn it off. Okay, so now we've got this. What we can start doing is playing around with some of the other layers that we've got. So we've got a Windows Sun picture. So I can switch that on, and there it is. Okay, and then you have to make sure that you're working on the layer that you want to edit. So currently, highlighted this layer, which is switched off. I want to highlight the layer I want to work on. So make sure whichever layer you want to edit, this is the one that you are switched on. So on this one, and by all means, you can pick a different one when you're doing it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up to the top of the layer window, and I'm going to open this little box of goodies just here. So it's a little drop-down menu, and what this does is it applies a blending mode between this image and what's below it. So if I just sort of scroll down, you can start to see different, some work, some don't. So lighting one looks pretty good. Screen does nothing, dodge does nothing. Okay, you get different types of effects. I quite like that. Vivid's a bit weird. Difference is a bit wacky. Okay, so you get sort of all these different type of effects, and that's just by using these blending modes. Really quite easy. And you get some quite cool effects. I'm just going to leave it back on normal and switch that layer off for a second. And I'm also going to, because I want you to play around with this so you can sort of weave the magic as it play with all this and try these different blending modes and moving them up and down above the threshold layer. What I want you to do is try and drag in a picture of your own, because this is just a starting point. So what I do now is I'm going to drag in this image of myself. I'm going to hold, I'm going to get you, I'll do it proper so I can show you. I'm going to get the magnifying brush or zoom tool. Z on the keyboard is the shortcut. Okay, and I'm just going to zoom out. And to zoom in or out, you've got up at the top left hand side, you've got a zoom in, zoom out. You can actually leave it on zoom in, hold Alt and click, and it'll zoom out. That's definitely my preferred option when doing this. Alt is the one on your keyboard. It's in between Control and Command. So you just hold that and you can zoom out because we just need a little bit of space. And then what we're going to do is resize this. So the issue when resizing stuff is that it might not resize properly. Now this is resizing correctly because I'm not being squished. Okay, so when I'm resizing, I have to be able to see these options up at the top. Okay, so it's this one here, this link little button just here. Okay, that locks this in place. I'll just undo that so you can see what it does. If I turn that button off, I can do this. Oh no, David, you look terrible. Just press escape to undo. As soon as you click on a corner, all these come back. So I can click back on that link and it's back on. Okay, so let's just resize this so I fill the frame with my slightly debonair look, like a potato with a smile. Anything, you must press enter at the end and it will fix it in place. So that's in. It'll sort of, you can have those options as soon as you drag in your picture. Just drag and drop it onto your image. You also get, when you drag a picture in like that, this little icon at the corner in your layer window. It's irritating. To get rid of it, you just right click on your layer and the option that you want is rasterize layer. If you don't do this, you can sort of not have as many options when editing it. So what we've done there is we moved Photoshop to one side, dragged and dropped the picture on, resized it, pressed enter, and then rasterized it. So let's do something amazing with it, shall we? So it's on, so we're going to switch it off with the line. I move it below the threshold layer. Oh, look at that, don't it look so serious all of a sudden? And then let's pick this one, this sort of triangle with lines. Again, blatantly robbed off the internet. And then I'm going to go up to my blend modes where it says normal, and I can just start to move down on those different options. Why is it not doing it? I don't know why it's not doing it. It's because I'm on the wrong layer. Practice what you preach, Dave. So I've still got my self highlighted. I need to click, although I've switched this layer on, I need to click on it so I can edit it. And then if I just go back to normal and then start, you don't actually have to click on it. If you just move the mouse down, it will automatically start trying. So I actually quite like that, and that's pretty cool. Okay, and you can start to sort of just play around with the effect and get different looks that might be quite like difference. Ooh, subtract. See, I like subtract. I think that's good. Yes. And then by all means, just start playing with other examples. I'll just give you one more before I finish. If I go to this layer over here, which has got lots of little squares on it, I'm just going to switch that on, and there it is. Okay, as well as your drop-down options. Okay, I've got. Let me just undo that. I need to make. Oh, I'm not doing it again. I need to make sure I've clicked on layer 6 so I can edit layer 6. As well as changing your blending modes, so I could put some squares in there like that, which could look quite good. Again, you could find different shapes yourself off the interweb. If I just leave it on normal, next to normal or all the other blending modes is opacity. Now all this does is sort of make it semi-see-through to the point where at 0 it is fully see-through. Down, so it sort of slightly begins to blend into the background. Okay, and you can sort of have a play until you find layers that might work well for that. So I've switched to, oh, see, I like that. I like that. Switch the next layer on, layer 1. Maybe it's a bit much. I could just turn it down a little bit. Oh, there's my album cover. Hello, what do you think of my album cover? I should be famous.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Is that you?
It's me, looking rather pensive. Should we just have one more quick go while we've got a few more seconds? So there's other random different shapes in here. So there's a corner of a building. If I just move that up and switch that on so I can see it. Again, you could just try different modes where that might kick in. So again, that just gives you that slightly more moody. Oh, I like that. And again, if that's a bit intense, you could just use the opacity just to lower it so it's got another dynamic bit. Oh, that's very exciting. Right, well, I hope that's inspiring. Add your own images, by all means, add your own colours, your own shapes, and create something that's interesting yourself would be fantastic. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you like the week. Lovely. Right, enjoy. Make something amazing.